This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com and GatheringMagic.com, your place to explore the game.
Hey everyone, my name is Garrett, and this is my Daretti Scrap Savant Commander deck. I've had a couple requests to submit a deck tech to CMDR decks, so here it is. We have Daretti Scrap Savant as our general. He is a Planeswalker commander from the Commander 2014 set. Starting loyalty of 3, he costs 3 colorless and 1 red. His +2 ability is discard 2 cards, then draw that many cards. It allows you to discard cards into the graveyard for later recursion, and also it lets you filter through your deck. A draw engine from the command zone is a pretty powerful thing in Commander, and he's fairly cheap to cast. His -2 is sacrifice an artifact. If you do, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Goblin Welder on a stick, even though Goblin Welder is on a stick. And his ultimate is -10. You get an emblem with whenever an artifact is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return that card to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. That is a pretty powerful effect, especially when it is combined with Mycos and Flatus and Scrap Mastery, where you wipe their entire board and you get your entire board back. He's a pretty strong commander. This deck is centered around him. So let's just get into it. Obviously there's Daretti. This altar was done by Federico Fiore of MIB MTG Altars on Facebook. This guy is pretty amazing when he does his altars. We're running 16 mountains, all of which are foil. We are running the full suite of red fetch lands. And these aren't necessary for the deck, but they help thin the deck out and also reset the top of your library for Sensei's Divine and top. And with Crucible of Worlds, you're guaranteed land drops every turn. We run Ancient Tomb. It adds 2 colors to your mana pool. Deals 2 damage to you, but that's pretty negligible in Commander as we have 40 life. This helps accelerate you pretty well. Got Bazaar of Baghdad. This was a fairly new inclusion to the deck. I got it altered by Brandon Brown of Modfly Altars. Draw 2, discard 3. Kind of bad card advantage, but when you have El Hammeret's Archive, it becomes good card advantage. Buried Rune for some artifact recursion. In playing the deck, I've noticed that people tend to kill Daretti quite often, so his commander tax starts to creep up into the high numbers. Command Beacon allows you to cast them for 4 continually with Crucible of Worlds. Darksteel Citadel, Dust Bowl, more land destruction that I have in here. Great Furnace, Haven of the Spirit Dragon. We run Ugin in here, and having multiple uses of Ugin is pretty good. High Market, sacrifice creature. This will help with when you have the emblem out, and that 1 life can save you. It saved me a couple times. Maze of Ith helps protect Daretti. Mirrorpool. Can't really copy many instants or sorceries, but it can copy a creature where you can get another duplicant or Wurmcoil or Blightsteel Colossus. That's a pretty good utility land. Mishra's Workshop. This will help you accelerate your artifacts out immensely. Adds 3 colorless to your pool. I got this done by Eric Klug. Very proud of that one, by the way. Phyrexia's Core, another sack outlet for artifacts, helps you prevent your artifacts from getting exiled. This one might be replaced by the new Gaia Reach Sanitarium. It's kind of like a smaller Bazaar of Baghdad. Strip Mine, Land Destruction, Wasteland, Land Destruction. Goblin Welder, the original welder. This guy is pretty good in the deck. If he can stick around, you can cycle through your artifacts. You can do instant speed on your opponent's turn to surprise them with a blocker, or if there's like a spine in your graveyard, you can destroy something, instant speed. It's pretty good. We run Imperial Recruiter over Goblin Matron because we have Metalworker and, well, I think that's the only other one we run besides the Welder and Squee, so, but he can get anything with 2 or less power, so he's the better option. We got Metalworker. The amount of mana this guy can generate is insane. You can combine it with Staff of Domination to make infinite mana, infinite life, infinite draw your deck. So that's pretty good having here. Squee, he's probably my #1 tutor for Imperial Recruiter. He generates pseudo card advantage. You just keep returning him to your hand after discarding with Daretti, or you can use it as a chump blocker every turn. Silent Arbiter is used to control everyone else's creatures. 1 creature can attack per turn. Combine this with Mycosynth Lattice, Unwinding Clock, and Maze of Ith, and you can block or prevent an attack each turn. The Sad Robot fetches lands, draws cards. Pretty much an EDH staple, and it's really good in this deck. The original Karn, with Mycosynth Lattice out, he becomes pay 1, destroy target land. It's really good, it's really powerful. Pretty good blocker, pretty good attacker as well. Forgemaster is Artifact Tutor. Usually he will tutor for Blightsteel Colossus. You never want to really cast Blightsteel unless you have to. Duplicant, creature removal, colorless creature removal, it exiles them. One thing to remember though is if you exile a commander and they choose to put it in a command zone, you do not get the power and toughness, it's just a 2/4. Steel Hellkite is some permanent removal. You attack, deal damage, and pay X and destroy each non-land permanent that's converted mana cost is X. It's pretty good. Got the Wurmcoil Engine, probably one of the best artifacts in the deck. Pretty self-explanatory too. Hellkite Igniter is Flying Haste, 5/5 for 7. Pretty expensive cost, but with the amount of mana rocks we run, it's still fairly easy to cast them, and you pay 1 and 1 red, and he gets +X/+0, or X is the number of artifacts you control. He can get pretty beefy, pretty fast, and with Lattice out, it's probably a game ender. You got the Myr Battlesphere. He gets tokens out. I like to copy him with Mirrorpool to get more tokens out. You tap 4 to 8. Myrs, deal 4 to 8 damage. He gets +4 to 8, and he's a big swinger. Sandstone Oracle. I use this to replace Tormenting Voice. If it can at least draw 2 cards every time I recur it, it is strictly better as it is recurable, unlike Tormented Voice. And it's a 4/4 flyer, which isn't bad. This altar was done by a local artist named James Skinner. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. We use this as a source of colorless removal. We have very few ways to deal with Iona on red, or any other kind of indestructible creature or permanent, and this guy will take care of them all. The bad part is he is a pretty big bribery target, so we gotta be careful. And the only way we can remove him is with our own Chaos Warp and Duplicant. just be cautious when you use them. And Blightsteel Colossus, one of the win conditions. You can copy them with Mirrorworks or Mirrorpool, suit them up with some greaves and swing. Again, this is a fairly common bribery target, so you want to be careful. On to the artifacts, we got Mana Crypt, which is commander staple. This allows for a turn 1 or 2 Daretti, which is what we want to aim for. Mox Diamond, another free mana rock. Same with Mox Opal. Codex Shredder. This one it's a nifty little card. It's rarely used for the mill ability. It's usually used for the return target card from your graveyard to your hand. This will let us discard sorceries, instants, enchantments, planeswalkers, and get them back at a later time, so we're not really scared of discarding those and not being able to use them again. Mana Vault, again, allows for turn 1 or 2 Daretti. Sensei's Divine in top, just a good artifact, combined with ways to make infinite mana. With Rings of Bright Earth, you can draw your entire deck. Soul Ring, Voltaic Key, allows you to untap your Monolith or Mana Vault or another creature to block or whatever. Grim Monolith. This bad boy right here is what I was waiting for in order to record this deck tech. This was done by Scourge Altars, and it's probably become one of my favorite altars. Yes, it is a real card. He de-inked the ink around the picture and painted in the rest. Very awesome artist. And we got Lightning Greaves. This gives our creatures haste. I used to have Hammer Perforos over this, but you only really need to have one creature with haste at a time, I found out, and the extra ability of Shroud makes it so much better. Mindstone, more ramp, and some card draw. Thought Vessel, again, Mana Rock, can never have too many of those. And this one allows us to have no maximum hand size, so we don't have to discard if we don't want to, which is really nice. I can't exactly remember who altered this. I bought it off of eBay, and I'm thinking it might be Lalieko or K11, I think. Winter Orb, the newest addition to the Daretti deck. With the new errata, we can turn it off by tapping it, which just allows us to untap all of our lands, which is really good, and I'm really glad they finally made it into foil. Basalt Monolith, another mana rock. This one was altered by James Skinner as well. Crucible of Worlds, get more use out of your fetch lands, Command Beacon, Strip Mine, Wasteland. Basically any land that you can discard them to Daretti and recur them later. Rings of Bright Earth, copies Planeswalker abilities, copies fetch lands with Basalt Monolith and 2 extra mana. You can go infinite colorless mana, throw in Sensei's Top or Staff of Domination and shenanigans. Everyone loves shenanigans. Of course, Staff of Domination. Everyone knows what this does. I can't read it right now because it's in German. Static Orb, again another lock piece, kind of like Winter Orb, allows us to slow everyone else down, and as long as we have Clock of Omens out, we can tap them, shut it off, and untap all of our stuff. And speaking of Clock of Omens, tap 2 untapped artifacts, untap target artifact. So we'll usually tap this plus Static Orb and untap either Clock or something else to untap. And we get to untap all of our stuff. Gauntlet of Might, I chose this over Cage Sun and Goblin of Power, basically because it costs 4 mana, and it's pretty badass. I got it signed by Christopher Rush, and then later on I had it altered by Eric Klug. Be a little close to that. Hedron Archive, another mana rock, and card draw. The Mineral's Disc. Destroy all artifacts, creatures, enchantments. One-sided board wipe when we have Darksteel Forge and Mycosynth Lattice out. Pretty good card to have in here. The Chain Veil allows us to activate Planeswalker's abilities twice in a row. We can copy it with Rings of Brighthearth, and we get 3 activations. You can use this to get up to our Planeswalker's ultimates fairly quickly. Unwinding Clock untaps all of our artifacts during each other player's untap step, so this helps with the monoliths and mana vaults. And if we have artifact creatures, it gives us more blockers in case we can attack without worrying about us getting attacked back. Now, Hamlet's Archive, when this was first spoiled, everyone thought that it would be better in Aloro, and it's good in Aloro, but I think its real home is in Daretti. We draw a lot in this deck, and all of our draws double. We draw 4 off of Daretti, we draw 4 off of Bazaar, we draw a bunch off of Wheel of Fortune or Chandra. It's a really good card to get. Yeah, I'll talk about it again here when I get to Gamble. Blinkmoth Urn creates a lot of mana for us, and we can tap it during another player's turn to shut it off for them, so they don't get any mana, which is nice. Gilded Lotus, colored mana rock, adds 3 mana of any color to our pool. Memory Jar, more draw for us, lets us dig deeper into our deck, find something we need. We can recur it with Daretti and Goblin Welder, and can essentially mill our opponents as well, because most likely they won't get to play the cards that they draw off of it. Mirror works, allows us to copy any other non-token artifact that comes into play. What's nice is Mycosynth Lattice out. Everything enters as an artifact, so you can pay 2 to put a copy of a land into play. Contagion Engine, kind of a board wipe for our opponents, and also proliferates our Planeswalkers and gets them closer to their ultimates. Mindslaver, Win Condition, Ultimate Daretti, you get one of these each turn. If you have 4 mana to pay, you can control everyone's turn. So it's most likely going to be an auto-concede, unless they feel like playing it out. A lot of times people don't like getting Mindslavered, so they will just quit, which isn't as fun for us, but it's still a win. Mycosynth Lattice turns everything to artifacts. Spells are colorless, and we can spend mana of any color. Really good with Nevdisc, Karn, and Vandal Blast. Overloaded. Stuff in. Card draw, damage. Spine, recurable destruction. Darksteel Forge makes all of our artifacts indestructible. Faithless Looting, more loot. Gamble, we'll always gamble for Mana Crypt in my opening hand. After that, it's always Hammer's Archive. And anything after that, just whatever we need at the time. Vandal Blast is mass artifact removal. With Lattice out, it is mass everything removal, except for ours. So it's really good. Recoup allows us to reuse Scrap Mastery or Faithless Looting or Wheel of Fortune or whatever, so we can discard them and use them again at a later time. Wheel of Fortune, card draw. Scrap Mastery, one of the best spells on the deck, especially with Lattice and your Daretti emblem. All it does is more colorless removal. We are mostly a colorless deck, so this doesn't really hurt us all that much. Blasphemous Act for mass creature removal. Not many things can survive this. Chaos Warp, is a kind of a catch-all. It gets past indestructible, can save some of our stuff and get something else in return. Really good card to have in here. Blood Moon, or mono red deck. Hurts everyone else, doesn't hurt us. Chandra Flamecaller, used mostly for the wheel effect. The damage ultimate effect is pretty good to keep creatures under control, and elementals are sometimes used but not necessarily all the time. Karn is more removal, and you don't really ultimate him, but I've done it before. I've exiled my own Blightsteel Colossus, restarted the game, and swung for victory, and that's probably the best use of Karn I've ever had. And last but not least is Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Again, we're a mostly colorless artifact deck, so his minus ability won't necessarily hurt as much. His +2 Ghostfire is good creature removal or keeps planeswalkers under control. And his ultimate is insane, especially during Bright Earth. Gain 7, draw 7, put 7 permanents into play. It's a back-breaking ultimate, and it's good to always get to. And I got a little swag right here. I got this from Greek Goddess Creations. It's a custom painted Daretti deck box. Holds my deck and all my tokens. Plain one right on the inside. And then I've got this custom mat that I got from Julian Revol of Cheshire Cat, MTG Altars, I think. Custom drawn, custom painted. So yeah, that's the deck. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to upvote the deck on Tapped Out, and as always, comment, rate, subscribe to CMDR decks.